Pip pip, tally ho and watch ya. Hope you guys are all doing awesomely well. Happy Wednesday. Uh, Winter's drawing in. That's a thing people say, isn't it? It is actually. Bloody hell, it's grim outside. I hope you guys are somewhere warm and pleasant and drinking something preferably alcoholic. Welcome back to Grand Prix World. This will be, I suspect, your only episode today, as I've got a bunch of stuff going on, so it won't be a usual Wednesday. Although I have a mostly free Friday, so I hope you'll join me again on Friday where there'll be a bit more Grand Prix World going on. I've just finished recording an F1 2016, that's going to be on the upload train very, very soon. And upcoming, we will be having a chat at some point about what comes next. Obviously, Motorsport Manager is out soon, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we could be looking at as well. And I get my new work schedule, which means the channel schedule gets a little bit solidified, and we can figure out what we want, where, and when. Speaking of things, what are where we want them, when we want them, our upgrade package, a new front wing, is ready to go. Excuse me, into the wind tunnel. So we will make that happen. Another technology upgrade ready to go on the car. Still focusing mainly on the performance stuff now. What my aim is, ideally, is to try and get us into a position where we are able to really make Alexander Wurz work for the remainder of the pole positions he picks up this season. We've burnt through a not insignificant amount of money chasing improvements this season, and I'm not sure how sustainable that's going to be, given the latest feedback I have from you guys is that we should remain with Ford, and I'm not against that at all. They've been a very, very reliable partner for us. We are big time friendly buddies, and we've won all our championships with them, or nearly all our championships. I forget. No, I think we won some with Peugeot, didn't we? I think we did. Never mind. Ford are our best friends for life. That means we're going to have to accept that we'll be a few million down against our potential each season, which makes it all the more important that we hoover up the level 5 sponsors with as many bonuses as we can snatch up. We have one slot remaining, which will hopefully go to MasterCard, and we have 3 rounds in which to make that happen, which means we're going to have to pull out a full-on charm offensive. Over on the technical side, things are shaping up very, very nicely. Testing at this point really is just to sort of boost our design efforts and to make sure we have setup points for the Grand Prix as reflected here. We'll run a reduced testing program again. I don't think it's really necessary to run more than 210 miles. Even that's probably excessive. Done and done. Yep, all looking good. Let's make sure that we've got the VIPs set how we want them. Where are you, MasterCard? There. Pleasing. Now, something else I wanted to look at quickly was the state of our wage budgets. Our most expensive department is design, but not by much. Construction isn't far behind, actually. That's racking up 10.6 million between the two per season. Then we have a further 6.6 million spent on staffing for commercial and the mechanics. Then we're spending... Well, actually, we're making a net gain of 4.55 million a season from drivers, but then we've got the commercial heads, the design head chief. All these guys are basically nullifying that gain. Pedro Diniz basically underwriting the cost of his fellow drivers and the team leads. That's all good though. I just wanted to see if we were on top of that still. As I say, your wage budget can balloon really, really quickly without you noticing it, and since I've noticed how quickly we're chewing through our cash, it's good just to give yourself a quick health check every now and then. Again, we won't be losing quite so much money once we finish the season and this stuff's all completed. Without further ado then, now we've got some guarantees in place and things, we can go racing. Do we have any more evolutions to worry about? I really don't think we do. Just got to repair the cars, important to remember that. Now, Constructors is in the bag. I'd say the Drivers is in the bag as well, so Pedro Diniz is, for all intents and purposes, a two-time world champion. Whether he and Wirtz can match each other, it'd be interesting to see. He should be a closer match than Fisichella is on a statistical basis. Obviously, Fisichella was dominant once he first arrived into the team, and then we saw Diniz assert himself and make sure the Italian man knows who's the daddy. Looking at setup, well, it's obviously Spa, which means obviously speed. I always put a bit of extra downforce on as well and braking just to offset that a little bit. By putting the extra downforce on, I know we are to some extent potentially compromising our straight line speed, but I do think there is time to be found in the corners as well. Everything looks sexy. 23 degrees and dry for the 2005 Belgian Grand Prix qualification session, with cheeky Mika Hakkinen and the balding Adrian Newey down there doing science, probably. Let's run it. Oh, still not getting those pole positions. Alexander Wirtz racks up another pole position on a 1:49.333. We continue to be the dominant Goodyear team. Fisichella taking second on a 1:49.459. Pedro Diniz lines up behind him in third in a 1:49.491. That was a very good qualifying session for us nevertheless. It's very rare that we have both cars running concurrently. It's very rare as well that both cars qualify in the top three. So I'm pleased. I think we're making progress. The Ferrari just seems to have the amazing one-lap pace, and it synergizes very well with Alex Wirtz. Assuming those skills are transferable to our car for next season, obviously the goal remains to win the Constructors' Championship. The Drivers is just icing on the cake, but a personal goal for me will be to start getting pole positions more often rather than just relying on our superior race pace. That has been the story of this playthrough though, season on season on season. Johnny Herbert puts his Jordan in fourth. Jordan have slipped a little bit season on season. Celso Moreira takes fifth for Ferrari. He's really not had Wirtz's number this season. He did have a strong opening season at Ferrari, but since he's been paired with Wirtz, it just really hasn't been as closely matched as it has been historically with his teammates. But still, he's a rookie. He's only got 2 years under his belt. He'll take time to develop. Michael Schumacher lines up sixth for Williams, leading teammate Eddie Irvine. Your top 10 on the grid is rounded out by David Coulthard's McLaren, Juan Pablo Montoya's Jordan, and Jacques Villeneuve / Johnny Newhouse takes 10th for Minardi. Mika Salo as well, doing pretty well in the Sauber to take 11th, out-qualifying Mika Häkkinen's McLaren. 22 degrees and cloudy for race day. We're not going to make any specific changes except to switch Fisichella to a 22-22 split. That should put him in a great position to win this race. That said, I don't know if his qualifying pace really translates into race pace that matches Pedro Diniz, who is the king. The track's not in amazing condition, so it's anyone's guess. But I'm going to err on the side of Diniz, to be honest. Although mathematically and based on quali pace, Fisichella should walk it, but usually he walks it into the barrier. To be fair, let's see. Oh no. Yeah, there we go. Fisichella taking quite a commanding win actually. But obviously that's the difference of a pit stop, really. I think. If Diniz had been on the same strategy, he would have taken the win there. But still, nevertheless, a win for Giancarlo Fisichella. 125.27.289, ahead of Pedro Diniz on a 125.53.549. I guess his strategy just wasn't the right one to be on at this Grand Prix. Celso Moreira takes third for Ferrari, 126.05.510. And the points paying positions are rounded out by both McLarens, Mika Hakkinen leading David Coulthard 4th and 5th respectively, and Johnny Herbert's Jordan takes the final point. Alexander Wurz has a bit of a nightmare in the race to finish 7th. Mika Salo makes progress in the race to take 10th for Sauber. Not too much attrition, 17 cars finishing out of a total of 22 starters. In the Drivers' Championship, the gap is closing ever so slightly, but still Pedro Diniz sits top of the pile, 85 points to Giancarlo Fisichella's 54. Fisichella's starting to redeem himself in the late season, which is always pleasing, and it's good that we're going to have a potential 1-2 finish, assuming Fisichella doesn't throw it away. Wurz currently third on 44 points. In the Constructors, we have 139 to Williams' 60 points. It's not even a competition. We're in a whole other world. Let's see if we've made any progress on our deal with MasterCard. We have. Boom. And we've also completed a fan club. Kaboom. So that gives us an extra 60,000 per Grand Prix. It's not really going to make a difference to our current losses, but it all adds up. We are going to start bringing the important sponsors to the party now, just to make sure we finish the season on in their good graces. On the tyre front, I'm fairly agnostic, to be honest. So I think Mobil might be the better option for the final slot, but let's take Goodyear nevertheless. We're going to leave 30% of our guys on the MasterCard deal trying to get some sweet bonus action, same as we're doing with Castrol Danker and PIAA, just to see us through. Yeah, actually, it wouldn't hurt to build up some love with Goodyear since we have to re-sign that contract next season. We are tied into a 2-season deal with Ford that will see us through, and a 1-season deal with bonuses for Mobil 1 and Murano. That means we have to re-sign a team sponsor next season. That's always a pain, but I'm sure we can manage it. We have an upgrade to our car to bring to this Grand Prix, which is pretty good timing. Our focus now will be on driver aids, because we don't have enough time to develop another specification of race car, and I think our technology is advanced as it needs to be right now, given the car is only got 2 races left to run following this one. Over in testing land, we'll do the usual. There we go. Drop the Forschung points, and we will repair our cars and go a-racing once more. Now the question is, given our strong race pace in general, and the fact we had pretty strong race pace in Monza, it does make me wonder if we might have a better chance here, particularly with the new upgrade package, of picking up those elusive pole positions through till the end of the season, but especially here in Japan. I do fancy our chances. Going to make sure that the settled points are distributed in favour of straight line speed primarily. Also braking to allow for late braking, and I'll basically focus on what we call the performance attributes, what other people probably call just stuff. There's no tweaks to be made in the build of either car. I still have total faith in the split strategy. Okay, we will put a point in overtaking, a point in dry weather, a point on downforce, a point on braking. I feel like we should do something with the suspension maybe, but I don't know. I'm going to set up for a slack wind on Fisichella's car and less dust on Deniz's. I'm going to give Diniz... I don't know. More downforce or more braking? I'm going to let Deniz brake a bit later and see if that helps him out. All the specifications are up to snuff. We're going to complain about McLaren's level 3 traction control just because we're difficult. Okie dokie. To Italy we go. 26 degrees, light rain, and the all-important slack wind. 26 is quite warm actually for an intermediate tyre condition. That means the track could dry out relatively quickly. I mean, obviously not as fast as if we were in the 30s, if we were in Malaysia or somewhere, but still, it does mean the conditions could be quite changeable. Let's see how we do. Yeah, pole escaped us because of the conditions. Michael Schumacher was always going to take that. Schumi for Williams takes pole position in Italy on a 1:28.559. Giancarlo Fisichella lines up second. Again, the hard tyre seems to be the one to be on. 1:28.588 for second. Jean Alesi makes the most of the wet weather to put his Sauber in an amazing third. He's been phenomenal in the wet most seasons actually, and he's really making that Sauber work for him. 1:28.642. Alexander Wurz outqualifies Pedro Diniz to take fourth, 1:28.682. Diniz lines up fifth, 1:28.799. Mika Hakkinen takes sixth for McLaren on a 1:28.862. Your top 10 rounded out by Eddie Irvine's Williams, Shinji Nakano's Benetton, David Coulthard's McLaren, and another 10th position for Johnny Newhouse in the Minardi. 3 failures to qualify, both Prosts, Tuero and Marini, and the Stewart of Emmanuel Collard. Stefan Sarazan is your final starter. Celso Moreira apparently does not synergize well with wet conditions. Maybe he's soluble. He lines up 18th on a 1:32.588. It's very dry with a strong wind, 23 degrees for race day. That favours Deniz's setup for lower dust and hampers Fisichella, who's set up for a slack wind. Nevertheless, I don't think it'll compromise either too much or aid either too much. We'll do the usual, of course, as if that was ever in any doubt. 27-26 split for Fisico. 2-stop strategy for Deniz. Nice and aggressive and fast, lighter on the fuel. Who wins? I honestly don't want to make a guess at this point. Fisichella seems to have found his feet again. The hard tyre seems to be good, at least over a 1 lap pace here. I don't know if it just activates a bit quicker here, and maybe that makes the soft tyre a bit more disintegratable. I was trying to think of a word. I'm not even sure disintegratable is a word, but it might be that the track takes a lot out of the soft tyre. Maybe you don't get so many fast laps in a stint, whereas the hard tyre will obviously hold up better. But for some reason, the hard tyre seems to be noticeably quicker. I don't think this is down purely to driver pace or setup, but you know, the race will reveal all. Not what I wanted to hear, but I'll take it. Giancarlo Fisichella takes another win, 1:17.43572. Shame he's finding his feet after we've already made the decision not to keep him. But then again, Wurz always made more sense, really. Speaking of Wurz, he takes second for Ferrari on a 1:17.44594. Pedro Diniz takes the final podium position. He'll be disappointed not to be second, and so am I, frankly. 3.2 seconds down the road from Wurz, finishing on a 1:17.47764. The remaining points even, are claimed by Eddie Irvine's Williams, and again both McLarens in the top 6, Hakkinen once more leading Coulthard across the line. Yeah, not really much else notable there. The gap closes a little bit more between Diniz and Fisichella. Fisichella now has a 14-point advantage over Alexander Wurz, so he's looking good for second position. He could still mathematically win the championship, but I'd be surprised and honestly a little bit disappointed. I don't know what's happened to Diniz. I don't really want to take him off the soft tyre because the split strategy has worked well for us historically. Nevertheless, it's something maybe we can consider for the next Grand Prix. which will be the end of the 2005 season. We are on course to complete this playthrough before Christmas. Ho 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 indeed. Yeah, same old, except that Williams and Ferrari are now tied for second on 63 points apiece, so that fight is still very much on. Guys, thanks so very much for joining me. I hope the start of the week has been pleasant. I hope the end of the week is even more pleasant. If it's not, chin up, we're not far away. And I will hang out with you again plenty this Friday, as well as the usual shower of content over a normal clean weekend, which will be my first one in a while. You guys stay out of trouble, but not too much, and we'll talk again soon. Bye bye now.